the nice thick roots, but I didn't like how it was sticking way up out of the pot. So what I did first with this tree was took it out of the container. I picked it up at I don't even know where I got it, maybe a grocery store, big box, I don't even remember now, but it was one of those typical, roots way up out of the pot. So I took it out, made sure it was growing healthy before I did this, first of all. I took it out of the pot and I chopped the big chunk of roots off of the bottom, and then put this back in soil and re-rooted the tree. So I basically took off probably half of the root base, if not more. And then, because I like this, big flare here, but it was under the, it had that much more roots on it. So like I said, I chopped that off, let it re-root, and then let the top just grow unconstrained, just wild, just to develop some thicker, because it was just had really thin wispy branches on it when I got it, just little branches like this. And a lot of times these ginseng ficus, I think it's a ficus retusa, but a lot of times they graft different ficus plants onto it to make the leaves smaller. But this one wasn't grafted, and I like the looks of that better because I'm not fighting the graft marks. So you can see that this one, doesn't have any graft marks. It's got a few wire marks because I wired the main branch off of this, but it doesn't have any graft marks. So it comes right from the trunk, the roots, and branches are coming right out of the rootstock. So disadvantage of that, you get really big leaves on it. So that's sometimes not desirable. It makes it tougher to keep in a smaller tree form, but I figured I'd try to make the best of it. So I let this leader grow really tall. I mean, you can see where I cut here, and it was probably another foot and a half above that. And when I cut that off, I started a new tree with it. Let me see if I can get this in I'll probably just put it back here so you can kind of see the tree. But this was growing out of this. So this has been in this pot for probably 6 months, maybe, or a year. I don't even remember when I did all this. Like I said, this has taken a while to get to this stage. But this was the top of this tree. So I rooted that, so now I've got another tree to play with. So like I said, I was working on taper because this original top branch coming out of the top was really thin. It was almost like one of these. So it just, it really didn't have taper. It just kind of started and then just a little branch sticking up. So I wired it to give it a little movement, and then, like I said, just let it grow to thicken that up, and it did a pretty good job. I've got decent taper coming through here now. And so at this stage, I'm pruning it back. Just a couple weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. This branch was longer, but it had a few few new branches, leaves down to here. So I cut that off. And then that's kind of you could do a Hail Mary cut and just cut it here and hope that it branches back out, but sometimes ficus will kill off the branch if it's not providing any use, meaning no leaves or anything. So when I try to prune these, back, I take the long approach, and I wait. Like I said, 3 weeks ago, these leaves, these two sets weren't there. It was just these up here when I cut that. So today I'm going to cut it back a little bit more. And like I said, this is just how I do it. Other people might choose to make a Hail Mary cut down to here and then grow new leaves and branches, but I try to keep the energy flowing and then kind of force back buds. You see these little white dots in here, these little bumps, that's a potential spot for a new leaf to grow. So hopefully over the next few months, I'll continue to get these back bud, and then I can, you know, get it down to where it's manageable and then kind of grow new branches and leaves out. So that's kind of the step today. Same thing up here. You know, I want to get the top a little bit shorter and just kind of have this be a short squatty tree. So I'm just gonna slowly prune these back. Same thing with this. Can take this back a little bit, and then it will continue to branch out. Same thing here. Bring that back some. Same thing with this one back here. And then this one back here is not giving me a whole lot, but I will take the tip off just to maybe try to force some back budding. Let me clean this cut point here. I'm just gonna trim that back off a little bit just to make it a little more make the transition not so abrupt. Just kind of smooth that off, and that'll grow and look a little more natural. I just don't like how long this branch is back here, but like I said, hopefully that will back bud and then give me something in closer to to work with. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. I can tell the roots are filling this pot up because I've got some aerial roots, or I guess roots that are kind of coming out of the pot over here, so it's pretty healthy. I'm guessing the whole bottom of this is full of roots. Might need a repot going into next year, but we're at the end of September, so trees have only got a few more weeks outside before they have to come in, and they'll kind of slow down for the winter, so I'm not going to repot now. I always like to repot ficus, you know, in the peak growing season in the middle of summer. So I'm just going to let it sit in this container through the winter and then continue on with it. But I kind of like how squatty the trunk is, and then the taper I've got going on. Got to fix these guys. I don't know, one of these branches could probably, I mean, this one I'd like to keep. This one I don't know yet because they're kind of bar branches and it kind of looks like it's got arms, but kind of looks kind of funny or cool, however you want to look at it. But it's got some nice aerial roots that grew out and down into the soil, so it's got a decent look to it. Got a few sprouts coming out back here. Yeah, so, you know, another year or two, who knows what this tree is going to look like. But my goal would be to have this kind of a short, squatty tree, so maybe not too much higher than what it is, but then have a full kind of umbrella canopy over the whole thing. That's the goal and that's the plan, but sometimes those plans change as the tree, you know, grows and gives you different things. But because, you know, I may get another branch sprouting off the trunk somewhere and be able to use that, but I need to get this one, you know, way back into here somewhere, and then kind of regrow the branches. But I could almost get rid of this one and just kind of let this, you know, this be the first branch. I've got this nice aerial root coming off of it, and then let this be the first branch on the other side. So I don't know, still early, so I'm not gonna make any drastic decisions like that. I'm just gonna continue letting it grow, and hopefully, you know, some of these spots on the branches will give me some new material to work with, and we'll see what happens. So that's kind of it today. Just a little quick update and kind of a few little simple prunes, and kind of talk through my goal of this tree. Now that I'm seeing it, I've got quite a bit of growth back here, so I think I'll take this one back just a little bit more. Like I said, just to force that back budding and growth. So, all right, I think that'll do it. Let me give you a quick spin around here. There's the front. There's the left side. There's the back. Right side. And back to the front. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.